Are we ready?
Yep, we're
Okay.
ready.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's Common Council meeting for March 26, 2019. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Gonzalez. Hanson. Sedlacek.
Here.
Gilson.
Here.
Hildebrandt.
Here.
Wilson.
Yes.
Fernsler. Nelson.
Here.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Next is the pledge. Please stand. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on tonight's agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second, Alder Nelson.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Nelson.
Yes.
Hildebrandt.
Yes.
Fernsler.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Sedlacek.
Yes.
Gilson. Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the audience portion where we ask people to sign in and be called on by the chair. This is where you do the talking and we do the listening. And tonight we have a couple people that signed in. The first one is Josh Bender. Josh? Welcome to City Hall.
So is there sort of like a time limit or anything?
If you talk too long, you buy breakfast.
Okay. I'll try to keep it short and to the point, but
That's fine.
so-
Welcome.
thank you for letting me speak tonight. So I am sharing a few concerns that I have and also a proposal that I hope will improve our community. As a young parent, I feel that it is important to be an advocate for the public and environmental health. The actions we take today will have a lasting impact on future generations, so it is imperative that we try to make it a positive one. On a trip to the park last summer, I came across a sign warning of a pesticide application. The sign didn't have very much information, only that it was to be posted until sunset of the next day. I became more concerned as I drove around the other parks and found the same sign. I called the Public Works Director, Miss Austin, and found out why the signs had been posted. The pesticide permethrin was applied to the sand playgrounds at the parks to kill sand wasps that have been present in past years but were not present at the time, according to Miss Austin. The EPA classifies permethrin as likely to be carcinogenic when ingested by humans, which seems like a plausible exposure route for small children playing in sand. My concern is that the pesticide, which is also toxic to fish and insects, including bees, is being indiscriminately applied at the risk of harm to human ecological health. Another aspect I find concerning is the lack of public disclosure. What if we hadn't gone to the park that day? There wouldn't have been any indication that the pesticides were applied because the sign was only required to be up for 24 hours. Because of fear of residual exposure, after we saw the signs, we only went to Stayer Junior and City Park because Miss Austin informed me that they were the only parks not sprayed. And then an additional concern that I had was the amount of cigarette butts also in the park. And I made the suggestion that receptacles could be installed to collect and recycle cigarette butts. And then I forwarded Miss Austin information about a cigarette recycling program that's available through the national recycling company known as TerraCycle. Both of these concerns are born from a desire to live in a sustainable and ecologically conscious community. The city is doing a lot of good things like installing solar panels on city buildings, but there is room for improvement. And in addition to the concerns I have raised, I also feel that another area that could be improved is waste management. And because of this, I am proposing that the council considers adopting a zero waste resolution. A zero waste resolution would mean that the city sets a goal to divert 100% of municipal solid waste from landfill, incineration, and litter by a specified year. And many communities that have adopted zero waste resolutions set it for like 10 to 15 years to reach that zero waste goal. And zero waste resolutions acknowledge that waste is made up of resources that should be recovered in a circular economy rather than the current linear system of destruction and burial. The first steps towards this goal are to provide curbside recycling and an organic waste collection program. And the city already provides curbside recycling and yard waste drop-off, but would need to implement a program to collect food waste, which is also the single largest category of landfill municipal solid waste. According to the most recent EPA data, food waste accounts for 22% of landfill municipal solid waste by weight. This means that 22% of what the city pays at the landfill could instead be recovered by the city and turned into a saleable resource. This could include a city or regional composting facility or in partnership with local farms. I spoke to a local CSA farm and they are interested in partnering with the city on a composting solution. And I'm just curious if this is something that the Common Council might be interested in pursuing. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming in and talking about it, and you can follow up with Director Austin.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah. And I actually also sent Councilman Wilson an email kind of regarding this, if you want to discuss it further. But and because he's the councilman for my district, and also Councilman Hanson too. So.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
The next person signed up, but I'll give him a chance if he wants to, instead of just talking in generalities right now. When the matter comes up on the council agenda, the chair will allow you to make any comments or additions to the request that you have for the Walmart new service that you're offering. So you can do it at that point, or
Yeah,
you
I can do it at that point, that's fine.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. Again, we encourage people to come in and talk to the council, and as Josh did, tell us about your concerns in the community. Moving on to item 5, resolution number 7, a resolution authorizing a petition to the Office of the Commissioner of Railroads for flashing warning devices at the crossing on South Highland Avenue near Horizon Elementary School and Lions Park. I'll ask Administrator Yurgis for a short summary.
This item appeared on the February 26th Public Works and Utilities Committee agenda and was recommended for adoption. Upon the request of Chair Jim Solachik, city staff researched the issue for how we would go about requesting flashing warning devices on Highland Avenue. And in the packet, you have a reference to Wisconsin State Statute 195.28 titled Protecting Grade Crossings, which basically addresses this issue and outlines that a petition requesting improvements would need to be filed with the Office of the Commissioner of Railroads. And then the office or the commissioner would hopefully start an investigation of the matter and respond to the city of Plymouth. We have on the website for the commissioner, there is one formal complaint that is still identified as open that was filed by a resident in October of 2018. It's unknown to staff as to what the commissioner's office would actually do, but a resolution filed would start the process. Also in your packet, you have references to the devices that are allowed at crossings. And this page I'm referencing, it says devices at the crossing. What we're talking about is the flashing red lights example with the crossbucks would be the example of what the resolution would be looking at. And then there's also a part from the manual on uniform traffic control devices that also references flashing light signals at grade crossings. And so that's the documentation that kind of indicates that that's something that is still an approved method for crossings to have these flashing lights. The resolution would be adopted. It might take some time for staff to actually submit this, because after reviewing other submittals online that other communities have submitted, that there's a little bit more detailed information that comes along with it. So the resolution would be adopted, and then city staff would work on providing a little bit more of a formal response along with the petition to the commissioner's office. So although if it is adopted tonight, it might be several weeks yet before it's actually filed. So just wanted the council to understand that, you know, it won't be filed this week yet, if approved.
Thank you. The chair will call on the chairman of the utility committee, Jim Kozlacek, for a motion.
Motion to approve number 7. Resolution number 7.
Second, Joseph.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Fernsler.
Yes.
Sedlacek.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Gilson. Yes. Nelson. Gonzalez. Hildebrand.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item 6, items removed from the consent agenda. None were removed. That item is not needed. Item 7, old business. Approve the Lee Recreation Berkey Playground proposal for Meyer Nature Park, total cost of $200,000, and Lone Oak Park, total cost of $69,889. Funds to come from the 2019 Capital Improvement Budget Plan. Director Austin, you want to give us a summary, please?
Sure, and I do have the layouts in front of you. I believe they're also part of your packet tonight as well. We went out for RFPs as part of the allocated dollars in 2019's budget for Meyer Park and Lone Oak. We've got back probably close to a dozen different RFPs. And with that, I took them all to the Park